Hi everyone. Pleasure to be able to speak to you about your movie. First of all, I wanted to congratulate you on how the movie is looking in the trailer, and everything. So well done on that. I wanted to kind of go back to the start and ask, where did the journey of Torbaaz start from? How where did the idea come from? How like the team was put together, everything.
सर आपका म्यूट है
Girish, I can't hear. Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. So I guess you asked me about the journey. How did it start, right? Siri here. Let me know if I can. Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you.
Everyone is going blur. Hello, hello, hello.
I can hear you.
Okay. Yes, yes. Yes, Aisha. Yeah. So the journey began with a good story and a good idea. And I think the idea just happened to, came to us with the blessing of some of the cricketers, friends. There's this player, Ramiz Raja, who was basically toying out with something that he wanted to do with his children. He wanted to, make a documentary with his children, children of war. And, maybe he said, one day probably, if you give them bats, there'll be hope. And, he just, I mean, he did, and there are other cricketers and a lot of other NGOs who want to do a lot for these children in Afghanistan. And,
Hmm.
Afghanistan has seen war since last 40 years and so much has happened, so much has been talked about. So somewhere down the line, somehow that whole concept clicked in my head, and I think the next thing is that me and my co-writer Bharti, we both decided to write a story, and I had this whole idea of this story. So the next 10 to 15 days, I was ready with my treatment note of 40 pages, and there we go, and we were excited, and we and bounced it off to Puneet, and Puneet immediately said, "Yes, I think it's a great script. I think let's start." And that's how our journey began. But it was not so easy to initially to find out the kind of actors that we were looking to make this film, and then the children, and then also coming back and talking about finding studio, finding people to so it just took us like about two years
Yeah.
before we could start this film. But yes, the 2 years were good enough for us to do a lot of research and a lot of homework and write the screenplay, rewrite the screenplays. So yeah, so the journey was pretty much this way.
Great. Thank you. And it's a question for all of you actually. That I realized the movie was made for theaters and then had to be released on streaming platforms. Um, is that something that like how do you as filmmakers and actors in the movie, how do you deal with that transition? Because obviously you've made it with a certain mindset, and then your audience will be slightly different depending on the platform that it gets released on as well. So how is that transition and that decision kind of for US filmmakers, and also Rahul, for you as an actor?
Hi. So basically, what you said, of course, we made the movie from the theater's perspective and your point of view, but pluses and minuses of both are there. Uh, with the platforms coming on board, I think we get a much more bigger reach. Like we could get this movie to be telecasted in about 192 countries, and definitely that would have not been possible with a typical theatrical release. One
Hmm.
thing. Second thing is, if you look at it, uh, we do feel bad. We were just talking about that. If somebody's watching a movie on just a phone, so of course with that kind of visuals, I don't know if you've seen the movie or not.
Hmm.
With those kind of visuals, those kind of landscapes and everything, if you look at, I definitely you feel sad that somebody watching the movie on the
Yeah.
phone or something. So, but at the same time, you getting a reach with so many audiences all over the world, and you have your movie to be probably reaching top 10 in the world and sustaining it for about 10 days.
Congratulations on that, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So you feel very good about it, which probably you wouldn't have been able to understand if it was a normal theatrical release. So I
Yeah.
think both have their own pluses and minuses. I think it's a good thing. I think even the digital platforms with the transition coming in, the global content, you competing with the best of the best in the world.
That is
and
true.
you still making it, there in the top 10, and probably all the countries out here in Asia, they're loving it. You've been in number one for about 2 weeks. So that way, yes, definitely, I think it was a blessing in disguise.
And Rahul, from like an actor's point of view,
See, from an actor's point of view, I mean, there are two things. I mean, I'll speak it from a purely creative point of view. I'm very, very glad that the film went to that many countries. I mean, 183 countries is huge and it's fantastic. I mean, probably a theatrical wouldn't have taken us that far. Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year to you all.
Yeah, happy New Year.
We're abreast of what's happening in London, so the best with that.
Thank you. We need luck right now here.
Yeah, you guys do need that.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. And other than that, I think other than that, I feel so the opportunity is terrific. Okay, to go to that many countries. So
Hmm.
strange places we've never visited, people would be sort of watching your film, which is great.
Yeah.
So it's a great opportunity that way. But in terms of the visuals of the film, it's a big canvas film.
Yeah.
It's been shot with a lot of love. It's been directed with a lot of love. It's been produced with a lot of love, and of course, with a lot of love, I put in the effort, like my other colleagues in it. So from that point of view, it's because I mean, creatively, you don't enjoy them when someone's watching it on this.
Hmm.
I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this and look at that.
Especially for a
But
film that's
frankly,
kind of made with that kind of
yeah.
cinematography.
But
Yeah.
I'll have to we'll all have to sort of rest with it, because my master says that any habit is inculcated in about 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and fortunately or unfortunately, the lockdown has sort of created a zone where people have been home for more than 3 months.
Hmm.
So, and with more than 3 months, they're all used to sort of ordering the food on the table or getting it for themselves, and watching it from wherever, then pausing it and going back, shifting
Yeah.
between stuff, watching something in comedy, and then going on to watching something grim. So, and being in the business, I think I have no other choices in terms of the OTT that I mentioned earlier. This is not my first experience. I've had
Of course.
Operation Parinde much earlier down last year, March. Then I had Who's Your Daddy, which was a series, part 1, part 2, which was also last year. I had another series, Poison 2, which was also last year.
Yeah.
So we had a film and 2 series last year, which were released all on OTT. And this was the fourth release on the OTT. All on different platforms. So next year, I mean, this coming year, I'll be there on Hotstar, I'll be there on MX Player, I'm going to be there again on Netflix.
Yeah.
So I have a release coming up now, end of Jan, then I have a release in March. So it's all good. It's all good.
And how do you think OTT has changed the game for actors as well as filmmakers in terms of the kind of content that obviously this was made for theater, but going forward, I'm guessing a lot of stuff will be made for OTT by filmmakers who usually make stuff for theaters, or actors who usually we see on the bigger screen. So how do you think OTT is going to disrupt the entertainment market as such?
See, in the current scenario, I don't see anything changing, because I mean, what is the biggest screen is the smallest screen, or the smallest screen is all the same at the moment because of the situation.
Yeah.
And even once the situation sort of, I mean, I'm a cinema goer myself. I mean, we are from that era where people
Yeah.
used to sitting with popcorns and watch the
Yeah.
movie with
Nothing
like
still as nice as that, really, to be honest.
nothing. But
Yeah.
the whole effort of going to the theater, the expense involved with it. I mean, when you look at commerce and you look at 135 crore people across, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's not really a very affordable exercise for, I mean, say a person who say makes, let's say, look at it at 50,000 rupees a month, which is a
Hmm.
fairly good amount of money in
Yeah.
back home, or 60,000 rupees a month. And outing like that means, say, at 300 bucks per head in the 4-member family, there's 1,200 bucks just for the tickets, the fuel, the something that you would sort of snacky you'll have.
Yeah.
It's like a 2,000 rupee outing, which is not so cheap. It's not
Yeah.
it's not so cheap when you look at the percentages. as opposed to just getting a subscription, which is say for just that much for the whole year, for
Yeah.
example. So. Um, but I like cinema. I mean, I love watching it on the screen simply because when you watch it, the emotions carry you back and forth. Somebody's crying down 5 rows down you sort of get more involved with the scene.
Yeah.
Somebody's laughing like just completely their head off next to you. You try and get to the comedy or why the
Yeah.
laugh is that rampant. So I mean, of course, cinema is cinema, and there's no distraction. It's very focused looking at
Yeah.
it. There's no real. I mean, if your phone beeps, you get glares around from
Yeah.
everybody else. So everybody's behaved, and but this is more individualistic. I feel
Hmm.
like even if it's in a family in a 2-bedroom apartment, nobody really watches it together. I mean,
Yeah.
you can watch it quietly on a phone by yourself because this is what you really like, as opposed to your mom liking something else or your
Hmm.
brother liking something else. So opinions are going to be more stronger in this, I feel, and there will be space for all kinds of content because the voyeurism is in such a way that people like thrillers. Some people like thrillers, but for me, I like drama a lot. So so I like to watch that kind of content,
Yeah.
and so all kinds of stuff people will like to watch. So and in terms of the work, I think it's become a lot busier because people are making and keeping up to time schedules
Yeah.
because the corporates are involved, the channels are involved, so they give you a time frame that this is your release date. You better
Hmm.
finish that, by then. I mean, I've had 4 releases last year. I've got, I mean, we're in Jan. I know my next 4 releases already.
Hmm.
We're only
Yeah.
in Jan. Meanwhile, you're reading scripts. What are you going to attempt, say, May onwards or June onwards or September onwards? So, so it's more planned now for me at least. For personally, I'm talking about me.
Hmm.
Then it's much far more planned. I feel people are utilizing time better. It's not like an outdoor you travel to say for 40 days and eventually only shot 18 out of that or 12 out of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's more productive, more productive. It's far more productive today than they say it was earlier for me as an actor, and far more
Great.
exciting. When you're getting all across all things is like a buffet.
Yeah.
You get the ice cream there, you get a souffle, you've got your main course, all kinds of dishes. So and restrictions have stopped. I mean,
Hmm.
early on when I was attempting, like when I started out, if I was playing negative roles, that's the only thing I was being offered.
Yeah.
Because that's your first film, you clicked as a negative entity.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm playing a father, I'm playing a lead in one, I'm playing a doctor in another. So, it's like far more varied the bouquet that I'm carrying creatively. So,
Great.
creatively, you feel better.
And it's better for us as audiences as well. We get to
Yeah, they
we've
don't
seen
get
so
bored of
much
the same
different
thing again and again
content.
and again. Yeah.
Great.
Absolutely.
And from a filmmaking point of view as well, I wanted to ask, um, do you feel a bit more, seeing this trend of films being made for platforms? Do you feel that there's more topics that you can now talk about, or for example, like Jal, for example, your one of your previous ones, you do you feel like topics like that or stories like that can now reach more audiences, or like more people will be open to at least watching them?
Yeah, I guess, basically, I would say, you know, I don't, yeah, yeah, because see now when we have so much of choice and it's not costing you so much to decide, okay, now today I will spend so much money and I'm going to watch a certain kind of a film. You tend to experiment. You sometimes watch something, go by go you by just passing through, and you kind of
Hmm.
tend to hook to some visual, and suddenly you discover, oh my god, there's a great story here, and you kind of get engrossed and you get involved, and suddenly you discover, it's so like, in a world today where there's so much of information, everybody wants to be informed, with that in shots news that, everybody thinks that, oh, I know so much without
Yeah.
getting into the depth of it. So I think, that whole process with the information can get into the transformation.
Yeah.
where you watch something, you kind of like it. Let's go a little ahead. Let's go. See, it's like, I'll give you an example. I am a big fan of Sir Sergio Leone, like the man who made a film called Once Upon a Time in America. When he made that film, people thought like, it's not working. All critics said, no, it's such a long film, this, that. But till today, my filmmaking, my cinema, my storytelling, my BGM, my visual sensibilities has come from Sir Sergio Leone because he's made such a brilliant film. And I waited for 10 minutes. I was like getting engrossed. And after 10 minutes, I watched that film 3.5 hours, and I think is the best film I ever seen in the world. So, and today he's getting so much of acknowledgement because
Yeah.
see, that's what I'm saying. Today the cinema has come to that point where your generation X, teach them young, watch them grow, teach them young, watch them grow. Otherwise they'll all be in one rut.
Yeah.
So there'll be a change. So I'm saying I have developed, like I'm saying, we are the filmmakers, we writers, we are doing all of
Hmm.
that stuff. But even this time with so much in offer, when we see so much of cinema around, I think, oh my God, this is something that probably I wanted to do as a child, but my father said, no, don't do history, do this, do this. But now I'm beginning to see. So I'm seeing that I'm getting intrigued. My knowledge base is becoming much wider. And
Yeah.
my filmmaking, I am willing to experiment. I see so many fearless filmmakers. And
Yeah.
also and also one more thing I want to talk about actors. I think this is the time for directors and producers to experiment with their actors, give them
True.
something which may not be on their comfort zone, but you try. Maybe that something very quirky will come out.
Yeah.
So I think it's a time. It's a very challenging time. But yes, filmmaking with big cinema is always the top priority because you want people to dive into that world of
Yeah.
fantasy and this painting looking pictures and everything. But yeah, I mean, both has its own charms, and I think
Yeah.
both ways it works for us. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And just to finish, things, I wanted to, ask all of you about the one takeaway that audiences, should take away from the movie, and also, the best piece of kind of feedback that you've received from the movie, from after, like, from, some anybody who's seen the movie.
What did you must say now?
आप बताओ sir, आप बताओ. You got some amazing
I'm
answers.
gonna
You
come
would
to
probably be able to.
everybody, so
Yeah.
everybody, nobody can get away with
I was
this.
told men are crippled when it comes to emotions, and
Yeah.
that's I was always like told by a lot of my male friends, but I have got messages from every part of the world where in beautiful messages on WhatsApp and email on Facebook on Insta that we cried like a baby, and then we smiled and he said, this film has brought, pure victory of human triumph. And
Yeah.
I am so happy that, the audience changed the verdict of everyone around and not only in one part of the state or one part of the country, cut across Europe, Asia, Middle East, Africa, and we're getting messages. Today, I have friends in Morocco, I have friends in Egypt, I have friends in Vietnam, I have friends, some one journalist from Somalia who's writing to me like right, left, and center. I mean,
Yeah.
how for the story. It's overwhelming. I mean, there's so much to say. How do I define those thousand of expressions in one line that what people are feeling, and everyone like one professor like and one lady, I can't forget that one lady who was about 79 80 years old, middle of the night, through her son she found out our number and she calls me up and she says, beta, we'll send business class tickets to this thing, but we want to meet this boy, the
Yeah.
guy who the boy, he's from Kashmir, wherever he's from. Like, I want to meet him. I want to just hug him.
Yeah.
I said, he's kicking and alive and having fun. He says, no, I have not stopped crying, but I want to. He's such a beautiful face. I mean, she just kept on saying, and I was like looking at this 80-year-old woman. Middle of the night, I was talking to her. I was like, my God, if this is the reaction a cinema brings to
Yeah.
a 80 years old woman, and this his the son was too embarrassed. He was calling, sorry, sir, to bother you middle of the night. I said, all right, I'm
Yeah.
talking to your mom. So he
Uh-huh.
was so embarrassed. I said, no, but it's just no, okay. Also, then she said, Acha, one more. There was another boy called boy. I said, ma'am, I will bring everybody. Where do you stay? She said, no, we stay in Bhopal. I
Yeah.
said, oh, I mean, somebody lives in Kashmir. I live in Mumbai, and we'll definitely come and meet you. So,
Yeah.
these are the kind of messages that you get. These are the kind of people who want to get in touch with you. Say a professor from Seattle or LA has got his own way of expressing the film, and a lady like this also has expression. And then some of the friends who saying we cried like a baby, we're crying like a
Yeah.
baby. So at the end of it, it's just a film. So yeah, I mean, so much is this film has done for us, and we're very happy that we could do it. Yeah.
So it's so nice to hear this just as a fan of cinema. It
Yeah.
really like solidifies your belief in the power and magic of what you see on screen and how it makes you feel. And if I could just come to everybody else as well, kind of your biggest takeaway from the film and the feedback or the reaction that's had the most impact on you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Rahulji,
Manji,
she's
That's for
asking
you.
you.
she's asking you. You produced the film.
I'm asking
So
everyone.
the only thing which I've definitely got gazillion of these kind of reviews about, it's a Sholay, it's a bigger Sholay, you will win Oscars and a lot of these kind of things, and talking about many new characters and new things happening. The best thing I remember is that somebody in London asking me this question, that where did you get this Afghani character from? And who was that Afghani character? That was Rahul Dev. So basically, he was
Come from
looking
my
so
building.
natural like Afghani that you understand that probably, it was such a great thing to even listen that he looks like an Afghani, and the way he performed as Afghani, that was
Yeah.
brilliant. So these kind of gazillion of these things in there, but I mean, this is something I just remembered, looking at him here, asking me only to say as a producer. So
Yeah.
Rahulji, you can share your thing.
So the people at Netflix themselves, they get a varied sort of software
Yeah.
from all across. They were very, very, very proud of this film. The management changed hands twice, but in both cases, they were very proud of our product. So that's really, I mean, irrespective of anyone else, what they feel about the film, I mean, I'm very, very proud to have been part of this journey for both these gentlemen over here with them. And then, other than that, the reviews were a little mixed for me in terms of the film. Somebody's giving it 4 stars, like a Times of India, and then there's somebody, I mean, it's an old paper too, but not that well read. But that maybe that person, one of these gentlemen must have rubbed off the wrong way, or I don't know what it is, or they just got up on the wrong side of bed. They sort of didn't like it that much, for example. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think more than the reviews, what happens to me is when I see it trending at number 8 globally. I mean, that's the only film I've been part of out of the 114 that I've done, which is
Yeah.
trended on number 8 globally for sure on a Netflix platform. And that's week 2, which is
Yeah.
fantastic. I mean, I never knew that it's going to go that far. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really like to talk much about my own self or my own work, because I find it a little weird. But I mean, this is like the better platforms, this one or Amazon or say Hotstar. These are the top 3 platforms our country's got. Of course, there's Z5, which is the leading, is like number 2 right now in the country
Yeah.
as a channel. Then there is, of course, Alt, which is growing like quite rapidly, acquiring stuff, and in fact, they've
Yeah.
also done a handshake amongst themselves. So, I mean, you're very proud here of it. I mean, it was trending at 1 in India for 2 weeks, which
Yeah.
is quite a lot. Because since, I mean, since box offices, decided if film is decided whether it's going to be a hit or a disaster in the first 3 days of its collection. I mean,
Hmm.
here you are, in 2 weeks it's trending at 1 on a
Yeah.
platform. Isn't that wonderful? So,
And nothing.
so
Yeah.
obviously I have very positive uh, sort of takeaways from it. I
Great.
have.
Great. And I mean, nothing
So
more
another
valuable.
thing I want to say is, now I used to be thinking earlier, but now I'm very clear in my head. See, so many corporate have now their own policies. Like Fox had his own policy of
Yeah.
not making or the films will be previewed by any of the person before the film starts. Listen, we have written the film over years.
Yeah.
We have introspect 5 times, 10 times, 50 times.
Yeah.
I mean, what has happened today is
Absolutely.
impulse of faster fingers on the day Friday when the film releases. No, my review has to go first, and I have just, while some people have given a review when the film released just 1 hour,
Yeah.
and how did they see 2 hours 15 minutes and they review it? I am sorry.
Yeah.
This ridiculous approach of faster fingers, my review.
Yeah.
In fact, later
So
on,
I say, audience heart
Yeah.
is much superior than the faster fingers of those critics and opinions and everything. Yes, there are critics who were divided. One critic was saying, so everyone was saying, oh, the children were superb. One was saying the story is outstanding, but this execution and that is. The other one says no, but the BGM and this is brilliant. So
Yeah.
everyone is saying his own way. So I'm just saying, I am saying there were times they need to regulate themselves. Hold on, see the film once, not once, see twice, introspect over it. That's the way America does reviews.
Yeah.
And the way other world
at
does
least
reviews.
see it
Not
once. Be fair to
fingers
it,
that
man.
do it on the instantly, oh, this is what I feel. Over, and then please don't let the opinion, your opinion about certain kind of a cinema
Yeah.
overshadow, a beautiful thought which is going across to so many people and telling the world,
Absolutely.
hold on, there is a story that we want to tell to save the children. Or, it's not about your review. It's about something else. Come on, hold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Agreed.
that's what we're doing today.
Actually,
Absolutely.
one gentleman's missing out of this interview. His name's Rahul Mitra. So he shared an anecdote, and it's very similar to Girish's mindset. What he shared was that this film was not shown to the critics actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's not shown to the critics and the reviews out immediately the next day for some of them,
Yeah.
then obviously you've not really seen the product.
Yeah.
I mean, a review means you've actually seen the product. If
And
Netflix
yeah,
not
and
had a review
digested
for
it, and yeah.
the critique, I mean, it's a Netflix policy not to show the films
Yeah.
to the critics. So, I mean, and you're getting reviews instantaneously. It means that someone made up their mind in which way the bullet's going to be fired.
Yeah.
I mean, the Times of India was thankful. I mean, it was on a Sunday. The film came out on a Friday. So it was
Yeah.
like 2 days later. And it was a very flattering review, frankly.
And I mean, to be honest, like there's nothing more valuable than somebody's time, right? If they're spending that time, if an audience member is spending that time watching your content and consistently, then nothing more.
All
That
I'm
is a
saying-
victory in itself. Yes.
All I'm saying is how you can be proved wrong by 5 o'clock. So 1 o'clock film releases.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of great critics, some of the critics like were giving us 4-star, 3-star, 5-star, whatever. Some
Yeah.
critics really matter are trying to say, no, this film doesn't work. But
Yeah.
by 5 o'clock, where would you look at when audience worldwide begins to watch the film and starts crying over it?
Yeah.
And suddenly, your film goes to Middle East and UAE #1, Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia #1, Qatar #1, Oman #1, Sri Lanka #3, and Pakistan #1, Bangladesh #1, India. It's like, and then they grow. It's
Yeah.
like, saying audience versus critic is a much larger issue, and it's not we. The
Yeah.
whole world is dealing with this now. I post this film, it's an eye opener that, oh my God, this is also something, there are people who will form opinions and can try and, give, it's the uninformed opinions might just give a very wrong picture to so many of my audience.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so much of people, it's a hard work. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
research. How many people know what kind of NGO does work in Afghanistan? Nobody knows. How do they know who are Hazaras or who are Pathans or who are these? They don't know why we couldn't shoot in Afghanistan. Can you go and shoot in Afghanistan? Know the location they should have shot in Afghanistan. I mean, that's the last thing that I wanted to hear. I mean,
Yeah.
I guys to terrain which was just close to Afghanistan, on the borders of Uzbekistan and Afghanistan. I've shot
Yeah.
whatever best that I could get, but I'm trying to tell a story here. So I'm just saying that we are very happy at the end of the day that yes, we're happy about certain critics felt certain way, and okay, certain critics, but I would love to have a heart-to-heart conversation with them. Come on, what is that? Maybe I'm able to answer.
Yeah.
Maybe your perspective is not correct, or maybe our perspective is wrong. Let's just at
Yeah.
least have a conversation.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
Sir,
so
audience
much
have given their.
larger, much bigger. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I said audience have given their verdict. Na, you can see that the audience reviews directly on the
Exactly.
public platform. So that's what is
Yeah.
more important.
And that transparency is now there for everybody as well, right? You
Yeah.
can't change that list of trending movies, right?
I mean,
It's
without
there. People are watching it. Yeah.
it's damn funny. One of the person says, if in case you are a fact-finding person, this is not your film. If you are emotional and you are a tearjerker person, this is your film. I said, well, if I can make people cry,
Yeah.
thank you. Now, the contradicting to another statement, another journalist says, no, this film is very docudrama. And I said, oh my God, it's such a compliment, because if I can take real actors and make the film look so real that it looks like a docudrama, I am happy that we could achieve that. So for me,
Yeah.
I think it works. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, audience just felt it in their heart. It was there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. There's lots more I want to ask you, but I'm just mindful of the time. But thank you so much, all of you, for taking out the time and speaking to Orange Wall today. And wish you all the best for this and for
Wish
the
you all
future.
the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And, hope the new year's gone off to a great start. Well, it has with the movie, but, with all things.
Thank you very
Take
much.
care. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Bye.